The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience presented by DraftKings, the second annual Fantasy Golf Draft. We have 6 of the top experts, plus myself, all lined up to do this. What I want you to do is smash the like button to the video in the comments section. Please tell me if you had the first overall pick in this draft, who you would take. This is part one. This will be a two-part series, so check out part two tomorrow when that ends up dropping. Also, I need to let you know right now, active as we speak, the Fantasy Golf Championship, the race for the Mayo Cup is open. So go to fantasygolfchampionship.com. It's $100 to play. It's a 5 max entry, and get this. $300,000 of guaranteed money in the prize pool, flat payout. Again, go to fantasygolfchampionship.com. We'll have some giveaways for entries at some point in time, but you might want to get your spot right now before it fills, because it's going to fill very quickly. It's a one-and-done pool, basically. It's going to start at the Sony Open and go all the way through the BMW Championship. Big end for first place, and basically everything from like first down to 15th pays a pretty penny. So flat payouts is the theme of any Pat Mayo Experience backed pod or tournament. So $100 to play, fantasygolfchampionship.com, powered by fantasynational.com. If you don't have a fantasynational.com membership yet, shame on you, but you can rectify that by going to fantasynational.com/Mayo, get yourself the discount, make the best picks, join the pool, and we'll be good to go. Geoff Fienberg is in studio with me. What is happening?
Nothing. Excited. Golf season. It's weird. Like, it just feels like it ended.
It did.
Even though there's always a swing season that, we stopped doing our show and, there are events, but they don't feel important. This year we pretty much had 2 majors in the swing season. So I don't feel like we decompressed anything. Like, we're just right into it again.
I sent you the early link to sign up for the Fantasy Golf Championship. Did you sign up?
I haven't.
No, of course you didn't. Why even send this stuff to you? Even Cuss signed up for it.
Okay, fair enough.
He doesn't know how to use his credit card online. He had to get someone else to do it for him, and he mailed them the money. Cuss not involved with this, but we have a real crew here. So let's go through the draft order. Selecting first in the draft order, last year's champion, winner of this event, got to donate all the money to his charity, which I believe was Rain from Awesemo.com. Ben Rasa, congratulations on your win in the first annual golf draft.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a little nervous because last year I went in completely blind. I didn't know the rules. And now I feel like I've done some research and I'm destined for the basement. But we're going to try to keep it going here.
The second selection of the golf draft is going to go to yours truly, Pat Mayo. I picked second last year. I didn't do well. Henrik Stenson not playing kind of screwed me over, and not being good also screwed me over. But the third pick, he picked first last year and came dead last, Geoff Ulrich.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to try and, look, I got nowhere to go but up, actually. I did beat the computer last year, which was a big thrill, but, just looking to stay away from Ricky Fowler in the second round, So
with the fourth pick in the draft, we've gotten rid of the computer this year. So no randomized pick, so that team is going to be a little bit better, although this guy might end up drafting Zhingzhu Zhang in the first round, just like the computer, straight from a 70s high school movie with his fresh leather jacket. It's Matthew Wiley, host of Golf.
This isn't leather. This isn't leather. Do you think I'd wear leather?
I'm seeing you in a really tiny box.
First of all, point of order. None of us can see you or Geoff, which is absolute bullshit, because we have to see how you react to our picks and vice versa. So that's a point of order to start with, Pat. Plus, being fourth in this draft, there's 3 great players, and then drop off. So I appreciate being fourth.
Well, we just wanted to make sure that Alex Noren was available for you at the fourth pick.
Way to ruin my bit.
Yeah, and also that if you had the ability to see us right now, we would have no video of you. You'd have to be a fun phoner board.
Okay.
So pick your poison on this one. Picking
I
fifth.
thought you saying you weren't wearing pants or something like Geoff.
I'm not ever wearing pants.
Ooh.
It's spicy with these lights in this studio. Geoff can attest that. He's already sweating.
Always.
Picking fifth from FTNDaily.com. Also joining the golf draft for the first time this year, Skylar Hoke. My man, what is happening? No LPGA picks. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on. It's been a few weeks without PGA, dove deep into LPGA, but excited for this. A little worried my bias for the Euro guys from Corn Ferry might not get the starts needed, but we'll see. Picking next to Wiley should be fun.
All right.
Yes.
Jeff, you got the 6th pick. So that's 2 years in a row. And you were, like I said before we came on, that you were complaining that we didn't count the Masters, which you then said you would have won, but we also didn't include the U.S. Open, which if we had counted, you wouldn't have won. So
Yeah.
it all worked out.
Typically, like most things we do here, my perception isn't reality and facts. I forgot that we also didn't include the U.S. Open last year. Rick Wan went to a great cause. Like Wiley.
Ben won.
Oh, Ben Wan. Sorry.
Oh, respect.
Like Wiley, I feel like he feels like he's missing out on the top 3, picking 4. I feel like there's a significant gap from 5 to 6, and then I'm forced to make a decision. But we'll see, I guess, in a few minutes.
Well, the 7th pick, the final, the wraparound pick of this draft was going to go to me buying a box of prisms and opening them on the show, but I don't think those exist. So instead it goes to Rick Gehman from rickrungood.com. My man.
What's going on, boys? Back again. I had a very specific strategy last year. It was quantity over quality, get as many starts as I could. Paid off for a long while until DJ figured it out, Bryson figured it out, and buried me a bit.
He was running crazy.
Well, he had like
last year.
Lonto
He had-
and
yeah.
Munoz.
And he had all the guys that won early and that got themselves into the WGC and big events. Yeah, he had a plan last year.
If you want to have some golf content throughout the year, everyone on this show provides golf content, so go follow them all on Twitter. I'll put the description and the handles in the description of this show, video and podcast. Subscribe to Mayo Media Network, and if you are listening to this on the audio podcast for the Pat Mayo Experience, rate and review 5 stars. All these fine gentlemen also have podcasts, and it doesn't take a whole lot of time to scroll down on your iPhone and hit the 5-star button, so please go do that for everyone's show. Sub to it too and get those downloads in. That is the currency that we all deal in here. So we are all playing for charity. We can disclose that at a different time. Ben, you are the winner. You get the first pick. So more money for your charity, I suppose, because you're probably going to win again, right?
Well, that's the plan. And I'm going to stick to the same formula, even though he was the 5th pick last year for me. I'm going to start with Jon Rahm. Super consistent, super good. Think he's going to have a huge year. Normally, this would be me taking Rory and then just losing, but I'm going to actually stick to the plan and start it with Jon Rahm.
Interesting start. Just to even look at his stats. This is all powered by FantasyNational.com. This is from the 2020 season overall. Ben's right. He's super consistent. Can he take that leap? He's number 2 in the world right now.
I've 2 years in a row when we do a preview show, I predict him to be player in the world. So I think I might have done exactly what Ben just did if I actually had that pick. New equipment, though, I guess that's one thing, but who cares? U.S. Open at Torrey Pines. It's all about to happen.
We're going to do our majors preview show at some point. I'll throw this out to the gallery here. Wiley, we'll start with you on this one.
What's up?
Torrey Pines, U.S. Open. I think more people are going to skip the Farmers this year. Because do you think that has any sort of remember it was at Pebble Beach? It was like, a lot of guys are skipping Pebble Beach because they don't want to see what it looks like instead of seeing it at the U.S. Open because it might fuck with them a little bit?
I don't know about that. I think... Well, when's the Farmers in relation to the
end of
February?
End of January, beginning of February?
I think they play. That's a great tournament.
Yeah.
The Farmers is a big one. Torrey Pines is great. I think they play it.
I think that's
my
play
opinion.
too. Unless they're going overseas, because it
saw
normally
guys-
coincides with one of the big Abu Dhabis or Dubai's. Or
It's like the
something.
Middle East swing. I saw Justin Thomas is going over. I think it was Justin Thomas. There's a few. Sky, you're plugged into the European tour.
Well, we know why they go to Abu Dhabi. Let's just be real about that.
Who doesn't like money?
But yeah, no, JT and Rory both already committed to that, which I think is the week before Torrey is when they're there. So I think they could still come over if they needed to, but normally it's a little bit of a Middle East swing. So ittle be interesting. I lean that they might
Didn't
skip
Patrick
it.
Reed do that last year and just flew about 25 hours?
He does it a handful of times, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, when you have a lifetime European Tour membership, you got to go over and go get your starts over there. You can't be like Morikawa playing for the race to Dubai and making your first ever European start with a chance to win. But this is my pick, number 2. I believe I had the second or third pick last year. I'm going to pick exactly the same guy because he was essentially my only good player last year. I think if we're talking about consistency, especially as it pertains to guys showing up to tournaments that are kind of off the beaten path that they can just go win, who's better than Justin Thomas than doing that? The guy's good every single year, and he'll show up to like he'll play the Honda Classic. He'll play whatever. It's almost like Spieth when he used to show up to the Travelers kind of thing.
It's not even fair that he showed up with his dad to that father-son thing. The number 3 player in the world's got to take on like Lee Trevino and Marco Mira.
And Tiger's son.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I hope it's nice they won. They should never be allowed back until he's like an older player. It's not fair. It's not fair. Nope. He's too good for something like that. But you do make a good point. He's not married. He doesn't have kids. He has no life. I think he shows up to a lot of these tournaments, and you'll have to bet him at 7-1 a lot.
Yeah, Rick, you did all the scoring for this last year. Like, you have the results in front of you. Was JT the highest scorer last year?
Yeah, he was the only guy over 5 million. So he cashed for 5.1. DJ came in at 4.8, Morikawa 4.8, Rom 4.2. But yeah, JT with not only his ability to close, he wins golf tournaments, but he will play a couple of events where he'll be the only guy. And,
Rom's having a baby.
And even if it's like, he has his B game or his C game, he finds a way to finish in the top 10.
With pick number 3. Overall, the number 1 player in the world is sitting there for DJ, Jazzy, Geoff Ulrich. Will you take him though, or will you pick Ricky Fowler?
I'll be honest. I have JT or Bryson here, and I didn't think that I wasn't sure I'd be able to get one of those guys. So if you hadn't taken JT, I actually would have had a real decision. But I'm going to go Bryson. For a lot of the similar reasons you went with JT. I think Bryson shows up at a lot of those crappy events, like the Shriners, and he just is and the Detroit, and he'll just get those cheap wins for you. And then obviously we saw what his upside is in the majors at this point. So yeah, it's probably stupid that, we're 3 picks in and Dustin Johnson is still on the board. And Matt, I'd like to know who the top 3 Matt was talking about before. So I'm kind of interested to see if he's just chomping at the bit over there to grab DJ, because I have a feeling he was probably in his top 3, but I'm going to take Bryson. It's probably stupid. I should have taken him with the second pick last year, but I leaned Ricky. So I'm going to take Bryson.
Wiley.
He does what he needs to do to win. He'll put on like another 30 pounds for me if he doesn't have a win by April. And
so Wiley, does this work much better for your strategy now?
Well, it depends if I draft like the Bengals, right? And take a third day linebacker over the second overall pick. So I could do that. I could surprise you. Do you want me to pick now?
It's your pick.
All right. With the 4th overall pick in Pat Mayo's rigged draft, I select, that's Wiley 77 selects, Ben On. I'm kidding. DJ, I can't believe I got him at 4. It's the greatest day ever. Yes, DJ, the absolute man on tour. He is not going to quit. Full swagger. He's going to continue to stomp on lives in 2021, win a couple majors. I get him at 4. I'm very excited.
Do you think that winning the second major, like the dam is now completely broken, that he can finally start reeling these things off?
I think he's going to win Augusta back-to-back. Yeah. I mean, he's unbelievable. Did you actually think I was going to draft Ben On? Because none of you reacted. Everyone's just like being polite.
I was kind of waiting for someone to do that, like pull out, like I'm going to take. So I was ready for it. But.
I know. Phil Hatchie was probably excited, but
Ben,
no, I take DJ.
Ben, when it comes to DJ, did anyone have he caps it off with this amazing run, ends up winning the Masters? Remember when he had like 3 rounds in a row in the 80s?
Off a win.
Oh yeah. He withdrew. Everyone, it's amazing how fast it can flip. So DJ at 4, it's hard to not like that start for Wiley, but
thank you.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens to close this round, because there's a couple big names left, but I don't know exactly. To me, this is where it starts to drop off pretty severely.
Well, Sky, you got the shithole pick, number 5, apparently after the big 4 end up going. So who's your pick at number 5?
Yeah, I definitely am debating between 2 here, and I'm a little worried on the winning upside with not worried on the winning upside. He didn't come through this past year with it, but I think his talent deserves to be the 5th pick. And that, to me, of course, is Rory McIlroy. No wins in 2020, but when he comes over here, that upside is better than anybody up there that was a top 4 picks. So I think Rory, talent-wise, deserves to go right here at 5.
I'll ask you this, Geoff. What do we make of Rory right now? Was this a good year for him because he now kind of skates into 2021 completely under the radar? Like, even going into Augusta during the fall, like, there was not really a whole lot of chatter of Rory's going to complete the Grands. Like, that was kind of off the board. It was all about Bryson, all about Tiger repeating. And he still finished, top 5?
Yeah, I can't call it a good year. He did not win. In the 2020 calendar year, Rory McIlroy did not win. After his great year the year before, even though he had yet to break through on the major front, he seemed to have quieted a lot of the noise that was building on why isn't Rory winning more? When's it finally going to happen again for Rory? How come this has taken so much longer? That noise quieted going into 2020, but I feel what happened in 2020 only ratcheted it up again. That being said, if I had Sky's pick, I know who he was probably debating between. I'm going to make that selection. I would have taken Rory. There's enough there for me to want Rory.
So who are you taking?
I think the bar is so high for Rory that 18 top 10s since 2019 seems like a failure for him. I think there's some pre-baby, mindset that he had this year. I think post-baby daddy swagger, much like DJ. I think he's gonna have a big year. To me, he's 5th at the Masters. I mean, it's Rory.
Ben, no one's a bigger Rory backer than you. Like, you must have lost a ton of money because Rory didn't have a great year.
Yeah. Lucky I won this. All hell broke loose. But I think Wiley's right on. Obviously, when you're that good, it's about wins. Nobody really cares that Rory's consistent. But I don't know. There's such high variance. If he closes 2 tournaments randomly, it's not that bad a year. Obviously, he needs to start adding some more majors, but I think it's a little overblown. I didn't take him first, so that just shows that I'm at least a little concerned because normally that would have been a slam dunk for me.
Mr. Fienberg, you're on the clock, the 6th overall pick, and then we got Rick waiting on deck back-to-back here. You have to go look into your phone. You don't know who you're going to pick?
No, I know who I'm going to pick, but it's kind of like, is there any way Rick wouldn't pick him?
Oh, you're trying to get the game
No,
theory
it's just
out
something
now.
but it's probably impossible. I do really like Rory. I've seen him do a lot of the talking.
Yeah, you can't pick him, though. Unless
No,
you
I
take
understand.
Rory Sabatini.
I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to check mark at least 2 wins. One of them's probably a WGC. So the pick is fine. I'm going to finally take a guy who's going to make a huge leap from last year's draft board because everyone here went pretty high. Colin Morikawa. Taking him, I believe, much like you said with JT, Pat, going to get a lot of starts. We're going to play a lot of golf. So there it is. I'm sure Rick could be smiling or thinking he hoped he was going to get him, but I don't know. That's who I'm taking.
Yeah, I think just Rick, were you going to take Morikawa? I assume you were with one of your 2 picks. First in ball striking, 3rd tee to green in 2020. It feels like he may have overachieved a little bit, though.
Yes, whatever.
Yeah, I mean the putter's the thing, right? And that's what's going to be taking him to victory, which is kind of what you want here. You want a win or 2. Yeah, I definitely would have taken him. I've got it narrowed down to a couple of guys left, but Morikawa certainly would have been one that would not have made it back to Geoff in the second round.
So
I love that pick.
Your pick back-to-back, sir.
All right, I'm gonna go with these are actually 2 guys I had on my team last year, so I'm just gonna run this right back.
Lanto and Munoz.
Back, you got it, nailed it. No, they'll be on my team eventually, but not here in the first and the second rounds. I'm gonna go with Webb Simpson, who we've talked for so long that there's like 4 or 5 really good web courses a year, and those still exist, but I think he's kind of shedding that a little bit, winning places or at least contending in places that he shouldn't. I mean, what he finished at the Masters, top 10 there on a wet, soggy November Augusta National that shouldn't have really played into Webb's hands. I think him and Paul Tesori are the best team out there, and he plays a lot of events. And then I'm going to back that up with Xander Schauffele. Good year last year and still trying to win, right? I mean, he wins the shadow leaderboard at the Tour Championship, the net version of that event, still trying to pile on victories onto his resume. I feel like he's a guy that has a pretty high floor, but could also be a pretty high ceiling guy.
We are 8 picks through this draft. You've ruined Fienberg's life here. He's got his head in his hands.
There's just a decision now.
Or now you're dealing with like antacid. I'm not sure. But each of the 8 players in the world rankings are off the board through 8 picks, which I'm kind of surprised about because we know that the year is not going to end 1 through 8 the exact same as it did this year. So do we start taking chances on guys that are going to make a leap? And you think they're going to be top 5 guys next year? Jeff, it's all on you. Make your pick.
I am debating pretty much.
You're going with number 9.
Strictly 3 players only. I have now cut this decision.
Take your guy.
Down to?
Take your guy. You got to take him.
No, he's not in this. Oh, I don't know. I like a few players. I now am making it between 2 players, and one of them wins a lot.
Well, you can say who the players are. The other guy's not falling back to you.
Okay, I guess. And it's not like I'm going to say a name who the guys behind me don't know about. So at this point, the 3 men were Cantley, Reed, and Brooks. That is who I was deciding about. You could probably argue it in any way. Had Brooks last year. Obviously, that was annoying. Weird, but he's going to play a lot and he's going to win. So just give me Patrick freaking Reed.
That's what I was thinking. He's
going to play a lot and he's going to get me a win.
I was hoping that there would be enough like negative energy coming through against Reed that somehow he got past you. You would take Cantley, and then Sky, Wiley, and Jeff were all like, "Oh, Patrick Reed, I don't want to take him," and then I would get him, and that would be fantastic. That's what I was hoping for, but that's not going to end.
Was that an imitation of me? Is that how I sound?
It was. I mean, of course.
That's how Pat thinks everyone sounds.
Okay. Let me make a mental note of that.
You heard it immediately, and you were like, "Oh, obviously that's me." So it was a pretty spot on impression. I'm going to
take Dublin. Okay.
Well, Sky, it's your pick after Patrick Reed is off the board.
Yeah, I thought, Jeff, you debated there. I thought it was a surefire Patrick Reed for you there. So I'm glad you went with your heart. You did mention Brooks, and that is somebody that I'm, of course, like to lead the campaign on. But I still think the risk here for me is not worth it. And I'm going to stay young like you did with your first pick. And I'm going to go Victor Hovland here and get another young ball striker on my team.
I want to make a comment because on paper you could have had Rory and Brooks, which could have potentially been like insanely lethal.
But
it's true. It's probably with the brand. But I actually didn't think anyone would debate him up here until you
Jeff,
brought
you
his
made
name
the
up.
pick. The pick is in. The pick is in, Jeff.
No, we're not debating the pick. The pick is in. I'm just saying that's what I was expecting.
Well, Rasa always talks about like skill set correlation. You're kind of drafting that way for your team. You have Rory, and then you have new version of Rory and Vic.
I love Vic, so I'm.
Yeah. All right, Wiley,
I'm happy with it.
2 Europeans.
Yeho, Team Yeho. He's the Euro guy. He's now on Team Yeho. Matt, it is your pick, sir.
Oh, this one's easy. I thought that Skylar was gonna go Brooks, and I got excited when he didn't. So I can't believe I get DJ and Brooks with my first 2 picks.
That was Jeff's team
But
last year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I like it.
What
DJ Brooks.
What do you make of Brooks's? Obviously, you're taking him, so obviously you're a believer. But like, at this point, what's considered a good year for him?
Well, I think that the last half of the year was kind of a little embarrassing for him. I think the U.S. Open was a debacle. I think that he came back swinging pretty hard at the Masters, and I think he's going to have a good 2021. He's going to likely win a major, so I'll take that volume cash out of it. And if you want winners, I don't think you can challenge Brooks in terms of what he can do.
But Rick, Brooks can't win not majors. I heard that once.
I've heard that too. At this point, I think it's more about the body, right? It's about the knee. Some of the comments he's made in the last year are a bit scary, right? I mean, he's said things like it hurts when he walks downhill. He said things like, every day I wake up, I don't know what it's going to be like. I think the latest thing that we heard from him was he's working off a cortisone shot, and if that doesn't work, then surgery is in the mix. Those are his words. So, like when you put that all together, it's pretty scary stuff. But then you look at what he can do, right? He flies up the leaderboard in Houston, and he plays well at Augusta. I mean, obviously the ceiling is there. I just think he's a very volatile guy, which I think if you're pairing with DJ in Wiley's case, you had a couple of big boppers with really, really high ceilings on this team.
Yeah, it's a scary team, Matt. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, sometimes you play this board and you just let the talent. I'm taking the most talented
best player available
here, and hope he's
Right.
healthy. And, you know, when he doesn't win a major, he'll win a WGC if he plays the full year. Like, that's just how
That's
he
right.
is.
So with the next pick, Ulrich is he picked Bryson in the first round. Does that mean, I mean, you said you're trying to abstain from Ricky on this front, but I do see that Louis and Cam Smith are still available.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't let Louis fall any further, right? So, no, I'm just kidding. Look, I was getting pretty excited there because I thought Brooks was going to fall to me. You pretty much had to take Brooks there. I don't know what Wiley did or how he tipped you to get DJ and Brooks in the first two, but the decision for me is two players. It's going to be Cantlay or Wolf. I'm going to take Wolf. I think the upside's better. I think he wins a major soon. I personally, and look, I like Morikawa and Hovland. And Hovland probably maybe the more consistent player, but I'm surprised that those two guys went as high as they did. I think Wolf is still the higher end guy of all those three, so I'm pretty happy to take him here. It's definitely close though between the other player I mentioned, so I'm gonna take Matt Wolf.
And Ben, this is a correlation play because everywhere Bryson plays well, Wolf plays well.
Yeah, you've got
Bound to get a major somewhere.
what is it? The 3M or what's the fake one? They always
Yeah,
dominate.
the 3M,
up
the
there.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
They're both almost
Get all your money there for the
both
year.
did.
So that's back to me on this one. It feels like there's a real legitimate drop off now. I could take Cantlay. I don't love Cantlay. I just don't like
play a lot.
I just don't like rooting for him. And I think that's what it comes down to. It's like, do I want a guy who plays a lot? Like Cantlay obviously has huge upside. He can win a major this year. Or do I just take a guy who plays all the time and is going to play every like crappy event going? So I'm going to do that. I took him, I think, in the 4th round last year. Now he's a 2nd round pick. He won us a bunch of money this year, too. Sung J M, my pick.
Wow.
He finally started turning it around towards the end of the year, which I'm pretty happy about, that maybe he's not a fucking disaster, for 1/3 of the season this time.
I was gonna say, as this second round closed, I was probably gonna have the person with the most starts out of their first 2 picks, but there's not a chance I'm gonna be able to compete with the JTM start numbers that you're probably gonna pop up.
Yeah, well, I learned my lesson last year by taking either some Euro guys or some old guys who could get injured or just don't feel like playing anymore, or have to go shoot MasterCard commercials that. I want to get my 25 starts out of my guys and just, if they start winning like 200, they come in 5th or they come in 7th.
You get
Those
1
start
or 2
adding up.
big events and you're right there.
And take the guys that are going to be in the WGCs and the majors. I think that goes a long way too. So Ben, it is your back-to-back picks of the turn to add on to John Rahm.
So I'm going to stick to my formula from last year. I'm going to take Cantlay. He was my second. This is my exact team from last year so far. He doesn't play a lot, but when he does play, he's quite good. I don't really like him, but
I almost
it's
picked
about
him.
trying to win the thing. So I'll go Cantlay. This one's a little tricky for me because I'm a sucker for Decky, but I'm gonna go Tony Finau. I know the knock is that he can't win, but A, I don't believe that's a real thing, and B, he can still rack up a ton of money. Obviously, knows what he's doing, very consistent. So I like to start for me: Rahm, Cantlay, and Tony Finau.
Love that team. Love it.
Sky, what do you make of that team?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of us really root for Cantlay, but he's consistent as it gets. If you can get the number of starts that rack up, and again, same with Tony in that type of play where, I mean, Tony shows up often, he competes often, racks up the top 10s, but this is going to be like taken over by victories, so he's going to have to get probably his first one since Puerto Rico, and now that the curse is broken by my man Vic, we might just see the floodgates open this year.
Wiley, you feel like you're a Patrick Cantlay stan to me. You enjoy his off the course antics when they have him live mic'd.
I think I did it ironically, right? Here's 2 players I'm possible time picking. Well, 3. 1, winners. Insert laugh. Number 2, Cantlay. Number 2, Cantlay. And Xander. I don't know. They're not exciting to me. I just can't take them. But I think they're good. I mean, I think it's the best. I think Ben did the best picking. I was about to say, how could he pick 2 people? Then I realized it was a snake draft. So
Perks of being the champ.
Yeah, he just gets double picks wherever. And he gets bonus
I was
points.
like, what the hell?
All right, my pick in the 3rd round, I got Justin Thomas and Sung J M so far. Do I want to mix it up a little bit here? I'm looking at like 2 Euros that I could feasibly pick. I just don't know how much they're going to play over here, whether they peaked last season. Do I buy high?
One of them didn't get drafted last year.
Hatton didn't get drafted last year. Yeah. I didn't realize he was going to play so much. He ended up just playing like every start.
He had a wrist injury this time last year, too, that I think scared a lot of, he didn't get drafted.
That's true. I ended up taking like Brant Snedeker instead of taking Tyrrell Hatton, so that was not a savvy decision on my part. But who's going to make the leap? Now we're in the territory where I can outsmart myself and just take bad players instead of taking good players. I was actually going to take Finau just to make you mad. I didn't know how far he was going to drop. I'm kind of drawn to Decky. He hasn't won in, 3.5 years now? Yeah. So Decky,
2017 Bridgestone, right?
Yeah. Yep. And it was a WGC at least. Maybe he'll end up winning in Phoenix this year. Grab the crown away from Webb Simpson, and maybe Finau can't win. I'm really kind of drawn to Daniel Berger, though. Just how well he played post-COVID. I don't know if he can keep it going. Like, is he really the 13th best player in the world? Can't really wrap my mind around that. What do you think, Geoff? Should I take Berger?
Take whoever you want.
You want Berger to fall to you? Is that what you're saying?
Berger's not getting to me. He's pretty good. I wouldn't see Berger, so you could take whoever you want. I'm kind of still too far away to.
Okay, then let me ask you: do you believe? I'm trying to run my picks.
I like Berger a lot. I think he's going to be pretty consistent. I would argue now, sort of recapping Berger's career as a whole, the downturn off an injury seems to be the blip, like the exception. To me, the norm is the guy that will contend for U.S. team golf rosters. That's the Daniel Berger I expect.
So you like him more than Matthew Fitzpatrick, is what you're saying?
I like Fitzpatrick a lot. Fitzpatrick last year was going to be dedicated to a North American schedule, and it all kind of got blown up with COVID. So if he keeps that plan, sort of like a Webb Simpson, there's going to be events. This guy's like guaranteed setups.
Yeah. Rick, I'll run it by you since you picked towards the end of the round. What are your feelings on Berger this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's this idea that Berger that's my dog who loves Daniel Berger, by the way, who, that he kicked it off after the shutdown. I mean, you have to remember, he had 3 top 10s in the 3 events before the shutdown. I mean, he played well for the entire calendar year of 2020. I think Jeff's right. The injury, in theory, should be behind him. He was as highly touted as the Justin Thomases and the Jordan Spieths out of the same class, and now we're starting to kind of see a lot of that come to fruition. I'm a big Berger fan. He's one of these guys that gains strokes in all 4 major categories. He's going to be consistent. His floor is very, very high. If he wins once, I think you're in business.
All right. I'm sold. I will take Jewish legend Daniel Berger as my third pick to go with JT and Im. Jeffrey, you are up. Bryson DeChambeau, Matthew Wolff, team bombs away. It feels like you might need to take, I don't know here, let's see, the number, where is he, 25 player in the world, Jason Kokrak?
The suspense is killing me.
Jeff, who are you taking, Jeff?
Oh, is it me, Jeff?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
he
right.
forfeits. He forfeits. It goes to me.
Oh, God damn it. See, I knew this was going to
Time.
Okay, it's snake draft. I got it. Okay, give me a second. All right. Okay,
This is
Finau's
like
off
the NFL draft. You lose your
I
pick.
thought I had
people
like
can
10
start
minutes
picking.
here. Okay. Oh, God, this is so embarrassing. All right.
I thought we lost his audio.
Berger?
What's that? I took Berger.
Burger's gone.
All right. I'm sitting here just like looking at the world golf rankings, thinking I had 10 minutes. Okay. Scotty Scheffler.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, I like that.
So you're thinking the leap is coming for him. He's going to finally win.
Look, last year I took all the shitty Europe guys and old guys, and they absolutely bombed. So this year I'm taking all the young guys. Absolutely.
So Wolff, Scheffler. I'm actually there's a guy lingering out there that I'm kind of shocked that hasn't fallen in this group. Maybe Wiley pounces here and ends up taking him with his 3rd overall pick to go with DJ and to go with Brooks. I'm very curious where you go because now it's you don't really need to go off of like, hey,
You know where I'm going. You know exactly where I'm going.
Let's hear it.
Hideki bot. I get DJ, Brooks, and Hideki.
So I had this team last
3
year.
rounds.
Does that mean Paul Casey is going to be available to you in the next round?
I had that.
He's available. Yes. That was my next one. Pat.
This is quite the team. I mean, we just talked about Deck. He hasn't won in 3.5 years. It felt like he was so close. He was second tee to green of any player on tour last year. And what were like his chances to actually win? Like deep on a Sunday, it's like, oh, Hideki's going to make a run at this. It felt like it never happened.
None. He's a volume guy. He's top tens, and he'll just make a ton of money. That's it, and that's all. That's all we need. Because otherwise, after this pick, I don't know who to pick. Like
That's
Adam
exactly
Hadwin.
Fienberg's team from last year. First 3 rounds, DJ, Brooks, Hideki, carbon copy.
Jeff is the sharpest guy in golf. That's a fact.
So Skylar, you got Rory Jr. and Big Dick Vic. Who's up next?
Oh, we're keeping the Euro train rolling. I'm going to shout out Rick for giving you the sell job on Berger because I thought you were going to go with Tyrell Hatton, and he fell right into my lap here. So Hatton off the board.
Yeah, big thanks to Rick for selling Berger, by the way.
Yeah, thanks, Rick.
Because I love Hatton.
I wanted to take him, actually. So anyway.
Yes. Thank you, Rick.
Sky, how much is Hatton going to play? Like, is he going to be a full-time player on the PGA Tour?
I would guess so. I mean, he only played one. He played the BMW PGA Championship last year in Europe, and then he came over for the Race to Dubai final. Those were his only 2 Euro events he played all year long. So he seems, now that he's got that win, that he's going to make PGA Tour full-time.
Right. Mr. Fienberg, it is your pick. You're doing some intense scrolling on that page.
I'm trying to think if like there's guys in the rankings that I'm kind of overlooking because I don't have.
I know who
deep
you're
research.
overlooking, Jeff. I know who you're overlooking. It's good.
And I'm probably going to pick exactly who everyone thinks I'm going to pick in the end.
Yeah. Billy Horschel?
No, I'm curious on schedules and COVID and a player with a young family with a wife and baby overseas. Like, what is their schedule? Are they not going to be able to do what they're planning on doing?
Lee Westwood.
No.
Sounds like he's going to take Danny Willett here.
You're gonna spend more time on this pick than Jeff, who didn't even know he was picking.
I want to be sharp, but I'm just a pussy. So give me Tommy Fleetwood.
Tommy Fleetwood.
A pathetic pick.
Buying low. Buying low on Tommy. Ben,
who sent out, you see, he tweeted out like an apology letter last week.
That's not great. Ben, what happened to Fleetwood?
Well, he would go to Europe and he would gain, from what I could tell, like 20 strokes on the approach, and then he would come back and I would play him, and he wouldn't do that. Why that happened, I don't know.
Always.
But very, very bad. Very expensive.
So Rick, no Fleetwood for you to take here. Were you considering taking Fleetwood?
No.
See, that's
Tommy
my
Fleetwood
concern. That's my
never
concern.
would have made my team.
Rick's
anywhere,
going to say
so.
2 names, and I'm going to slam this desk like I'm an idiot.
Yeah, he's going to take Ryan Palmer and Matt Kuchar.
No, but I mean, this is interesting, right? When you're at the turn, you kind of just have to stash guys, right? You got to just grab what's available because you know they're not coming back to you. So I feel like at times I'll be the one who's reaching for guys that I want in situations. So my third pick is going to be Harris English. You want to talk about consistency? Guy was 7th in strokes gained last year. Would have won the Northern Trust if DJ didn't blitz everybody and get to 30 under. Like what we're seeing from Harris English is good stuff. And then this might be the reach here. I'm going to take Will Zalatoris in the 4th. And I think that he is, with the way the tour cards worked themselves out this year, he would have been one of those top 25 guys who came up from the Corn Ferry. And there's a case to be made. He's like a top 30 player in the world. I think he plays a lot. I think he's going to contend a lot. We saw it early in the 2021 season. So I'm just going to stash guys that I like and go English and Zalatoris.
Well, Ulrich, there's a bunch of guys who kind of fit the Harris. Harris English was your guy last year, as I recall. I think you ended up drafting him. That he didn't get good until he didn't end up having like the really high finishes until the season was over. And then he ended up winning the team event to finally kick it off. How sustainable is this? Like, is he a different player now? Like, is he good again?
Yeah, I just about took him over Scheffler, but I couldn't quite pull the trigger. Like I said, I'm trying to go for the young upside. But look, Harris English's big issue was it's not talent, it's not lack of talent, it's that he couldn't hit the ball off the tee for like 2 years. Legitimately, he was just so bad off the tee that the fact he was even making cuts just kind of speaks to how talented a player he is. And So I like the pick. I think he's like a mini version of Webb Simpson. I think he could even just turn into Webb Simpson. Rick's right. I mean, he could have easily ended last year with like multiple wins. So he's really good at those like really easy courses. It's a really good pick because he plays a lot too. So yeah, that's probably exactly who I would have gone with there.
Wiley, are you a Harris English head in this regard? Like when you see players like this, it's a lot like Brendan Todd from last year. It's like, oh, Todd's like a new, and then no one believed him, and he was actually pretty good last year.
Harris English, Nick Watney, Hudson Swafford. I can never play those three guys ever, in addition to a couple more. I don't know. He's a good pick, though. He burned me a million times because he always did well. I just can never pick Harris English. I don't know why.
Well, what's the difference right now between their years, between like Harris English and Russell Henley?
I don't know. Russell Henley is like mini Fowler to me. I like Russell Henley because of the Shell Houston Open when he took down Kang. Okay, Russell Henley can go on these epic runs. He can score, and he's a pretty good putter. I cannot describe Harris English's game. I can't describe Watney's game, and I can't describe Swafford's game. I just can't. I can't take him. That's a good pick, though.
All right, Mr. Fienberg, it is your pick. You've done some deep dive in there.
Yeah, I've done a lot of thinking while that was being broken down. I don't know. I feel like everyone could sort of have their own order at this point. Safe to say the best players available are like a Matthew Fitzpatrick, who I think will play a lot, and Adam Scott, who I don't think will play a lot. Louis, who always scores in big events. Do I want Abraham Answer to make a breakout? Yes, but I'm skipping all of these guys. I'm going farther down the board. I'm calling my shot for a guy to be a top 20 player next year.
Don't do it.
Joakim Neiman.
Fuck.
I knew you'd do it. That was who I thought you'd take last pick, Jeff.
I was worried.
I thought it was going to be.
Rick was going to take him. Even when Jeff was talking about another youngster, I knew Zalatoris might have been it, but I was worried Neiman could be that guy. He's very much linked to some of these other players. I think he plays a ton. I think we could be on the cusp of a huge year.
You're in my head. That's exactly a great pick. Thank you.
No, I want to kind of go through this then. We have, Ben, we'll start with you. I want you to rank these guys. Best next 5 years, and I'm really putting this on you. Everyone's going to get a shot at this one. We have Zalatoris, Neiman, Wolf, Morikawa, Hovland, and Im. Is there anyone else I should throw into that mix, do you think?
Norman Jong.
What
so
about,
you want to rank them?
Yeah, like who are the top three to you from that group? Is it the three that we just consider to be the best? Or is someone like where does Sung Jae rank among those guys? Because everyone forgets Sung Jae's like 20 years old.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would definitely be against the grain. I wouldn't have Morikawa in the top three.
Really?
I would have Hovland 1, Sungjae 2, and Neiman 3.
Interesting.
Wow.
Wiley, where
Neiman's
do you
only 22.
Wiley, how do you rank them?
I think Morikawa is
Scheffler,
out of that group number one. Hovland 2, and then we can debate the rest.
Well, let's
I think
Jeff makes
agree with
Morikawa is interstellar. I think he's going to have he's already won a major. I think he's going to be multiple majors.
Jeff's right. We should throw Scotty Scheffler into this mix too, I think.
Love Scotty Scheffler, but I just think that Morikawa has a virtually flawless game.
My 1-2 is like Matt's, and then you can sort of debate them how you want. But I think
Totally.
Morikawa and Hovland to me I know Wolf, it's so hard to discredit him in any way.
Are Wolf and Champ in like kind of the same group? Where they're either really good or they're not good
No,
whatsoever?
because I've already seen more from Wolf than I have from
Champ's
Champ.
won twice.
The Sanders, I've seen more from Wolf than I have from Champ, in my opinion, in terms of what I think their ceiling could be. That's my opinion.
All right, Sky, how do you rate them? And who's the Euro guy we should chuck in here? Bobby Mack?
Yeah, he'd probably be the one guy I'd consider. But I think it's Morikawa Hovland 1-2. But I think the third that no one's brought up is Zalatoris from the top three rankings of it. I mean, he would be my third one in here. You have to see a putter out of him. We don't have much strokes gained putting, numbers from outside of his 2 or 3 performances, but I think ball striking is probably second to Morikawa in there. I just need to see a little bit more of that short game. And we saw Vic go from year 1 to year 2. So he would be third for me.
Rick, I'm curious to hear yours because no one has put Sungjae inside the top 3, which kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, Sungjae might be like a solid 3 or 4. I mean, I think it's Morikawa 1. I mean, his 6-iron dispersion is essentially like 9-iron tour level dispersion. Like, it's unbelievable stuff. I'll stand for Wolf a little bit here at number 2. I think that I think he's one of the harder guys to model because we saw the maturity of his game happen so rapidly. Like, he's getting better and better every single week. It's actually hard to keep up with, and he has the skill set that, in theory, it's where the tour is headed, right? It's the bomber abilities, figuring out the rest of his game. Remember how long it took DJ to figure out his wedges, and once he did, he became a number 1 player in the world. Like, it is, I'm not crowning Matthew Wolff the next number 1 player, but like it could be something like that. And then I think there's a really good conversation to be had about Morikawa and Sungjae Im for the 3 spot. Sungjae's so solid. He showed off the short game at Augusta National. He strikes the ball with the best of them and just never seems out of his element, which is interesting. And he's basically going to garner multiple years of experience in a short period of time because he's going to play every single week.
Well, the interesting thing with Im is, like, when you look at overall skills amongst all these guys, he's the most well-rounded, I think. I don't think he does one thing. I mean, he's probably the best short game player of this bunch. He might be the best putter of this bunch too, but it seems like if he lacks or is deficient any sort of week with driving or on his approaches, he has the ability to make it up somewhere else, where the other guys just don't seem to. Like, if Vic is just having his normal great ball striking week, he could chip himself out of a tournament at some point. He has that. I think all those guys have higher upsides. Like, they could go win tournaments by 12 strokes.
Yeah.
But Sungjae will constantly be in it.
Agreed, but sort of the way we rate these guys, it's almost like you only need a Vic and a Morikawa to bring their A game 2, 3, 5 times a year, and they'll hit their win quotas and everything's fine. And they're allowed to have shit weeks.
Yeah, that's interesting. Geoff Ulrich, I'll use your full name so you know I'm talking to you. How do you rank them? And what sort of like weird young loser are you going to put at number 1?
No, look, we're talking 5 years, right? I'm really surprised people are this down on Matt Wolff. The dude finished like runner-up in the last 2 majors. He was out driving Bryson at the U.S. Open. I think Rick's dead on. He's got the game that translate over the next 5 years to dominate. I really do. I would put him at number 1. I think it's really close to Morikawa, Hovland, and Im. I think all 3 of those guys are like, they're just too close to rank, quite frankly. I kind of agree with Ben a little bit. I would probably be a little bit more down on Morikawa than normal. I think he ran exceedingly hot this year with the putter and around the green for a little bit. I don't think there's that big a difference between him, Hovland, and Im. And then I think the rest of the guys are a solid, 4 to 6, like we mentioned, Zalatoris, Scheffler, Neiman. But 5 years, I'm taking Wolff number 1, 100%.
I see.
And the weird guy I would put in
Hogard,
Rasmus Hogard. He's not even bad. He's good.
Yeah, 19.
Do we still consider Jordan Spieth a young man?
Hogard.
Do you want to rank
Who's
him?
the other,
Jeff?
like, there's the 18-year-old. Is that Hogard? No, there's.
Yeah, Hoygaard's 19. Yeah,
He's 19.
And he's a twin, right?
What about Tom?
Yeah.
Oh no, who's the South Korean guy who is like 16 and everyone played him?
Tom Kim?
Tom Kim.
Tom Kim.
Choo.
Trying to see who are the other young guys. How old, Sky? How old's Higo?
Higo's 21.
Would Dittree?
Higo, I mean, you have him, Nina Burr. I mean, Ditree's young. I mean, all of them are pretty young.
Robert
McIntyre's
McIntyre.
22.
Robert
Yeah,
McIntyre.
McIntyre is probably my
is a
favorite
player.
of the bunch.
Look at him
Yeah.
at the Open. Yeah.
He might sneak into the Masters too. He's just outside top 50. So if he can get hot to start the year, he can get the Masters.
He's
I mean,
a player.
he has to pass such luminaries in the world rankings, such as Kevin Streelman and Ricky Fowler, who are basically the same player now.
Wow.
Also, Chez Reavie is in that mix. Sky, it is your pick, 4th round. You got Rory, Vic, and Hatton with your first 3 picks. Who you adding?
I promise I didn't come in here just going with the Euro bunch and get our Ryder Cup team rolling. But Jeff brought up a good point. I think the volume concerns, I think the most talented left on the board is Adam Scott, but I don't know if I'm able to chalk up 10 events and hope he gets 2 wins in this spot. I think we saw the, kind of rise at some of the PGA events right off the restart, specifically at Memorial with Fitzy showing really well. And I think he's going to continue to play more on the calendar year here. Big win in Dubai. So Fitzpatrick will be my 4th pick.
Fitzpatrick going on the team. Yeah, it's going to be fun when we look back at the end of the year and all your guys have like 3 starts apiece.
Yeah, they're just stuck. No vaccine over there, and we're just stuck over there with 0 starts.
I don't know if it's necessarily the vaccine over there. There might be no vaccine down where you guys are. No one wants to come in. I'm not sure. I'm gonna settle up here north of the border for a while and see. Just watch from afar, see what happens. Wiley, you're a man of 2 nations.
Who did Skylar pick? Who did Skylar pick?
Fitzy.
Oh, that's a good pick. All right.
You can't diss that.
Bear
one.
off would be proud.
You got DJ, Brooks, and Hideki.
Yeah. Okay. So as you guys have been yammering away, I've been doing some searching to get the background on some injuries. See, I really like Gary Woodland a lot, and I think he's a very good play here in terms of guys who could actually win and compete in majors and WGCs. But I'm just looking for reactions now, just to see where your eyes are. And that's the disadvantage here. I can't see Geoff and Pat because I'd be looking at Geoff to see
Woodland.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If Geoff starts to nod, I'm going to
pick
take it.
again, so you don't have to worry about me.
I know. No, I just I'm agreeing that if Geoff starts to nod, then I'd probably take him, right? So
I don't know. It's a labrum or something. It seemed bad.
it's a torn hip and a back. Yeah, he can't even. He's lost a lot of weight. He doesn't need surgery, evidently, but I'll come back to Gary. I didn't see the reactions I wanted, so I'm gonna get a reaction to this one. I'm gonna go Fowler.
Go ahead, throw your money away.
Oh, come on.
You figured he wouldn't get past
Hideki and Fowler.
You figured he wouldn't get past Jeff's next 2 picks. So you had to
that's
take
the
him.
thing. Jeff's gonna take him. I've got to take him. I mean, you want a guy who can at least compete in these big tournaments, WGCs. You may not get them to the Masters, but I think he has a comeback year.
All right, Geoff Ulrich. You do not get a chance to draft Ricky Fowler, so who you take?
He's got to take Louis.
I mean,
now.
look, thank you, Wiley, for saving me because I was actually considering him here, and I really just don't need another year of Ricky Fowler. So I'm gonna take I'm just gonna take some consistent money here. I'm gonna take Abraham Answer again. I took him last year, super consistent. Again, just a player who just his skill set translates to a lot of different courses. Plays a lot. He's in the top 50. He's in all the WGCs, you know. I just like his game, quite frankly. I think he's super steady. It's very much like again, you could say it's a poor man's Harris English. He might even outperform Harris English, though, because I think he's that type of player. So I'm going to take Abraham Answer.
All right, that goes back to me. My team is Justin Thomas, Sung J. M., and Daniel Berger. You know, sometimes you just have feelings about players, Geoff.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to be a year for this guy because he was so close. Like, you look like statistically towards the back half of last year, he feels like he's in a good place.
I think I know who it is.
I'm taking Bubba Watson.
Ooh.
We're like 2 years.
I like that.
It's like every 2 years he has a gigantic year. He's going to play his like happy spots, and he was really good last year. He just couldn't make a putt to save his life.
He was really good, and it seems like he has, as I spoke to you about a couple of times, as his resurgence was starting, like statistically, and people were taking notice. Corona or through all of that, he was just like this happy guy on the internet, like in this RV with his family. It seems like golf is just a thing he does now, and it doesn't like I don't know, he just seems like a way happier guy, and I am on board with Bubba getting back in the winner's circle in 2021. It feels like it's coming.
I was shocked just based. I mean, Rick, you ran a lot of these numbers. Like, how well did Bubba end up rating out towards like the second half of the season? Like, there was a reason that he was up there in odds by the time the Masters came around, and it wasn't just because it was the Masters.
Yeah, he was great from tee to green, right? And that's really the thing. He was back. He was like top 3 for a bunch of events where he was on the leaderboard in strokes gained tee to green, which is phenomenal stuff. The good news is he's going to play TPC River Highlands. He's going to be at Augusta. He's going to be at Genesis, right? He's going to be at his happy places. And if he can roll anything, like I'm kind of the mind that he's lost the putter, right? Which I guess to to counterbalance that, I would have said Sergio lost the putter too, and he figured out a way to get it done at Sanderson. But like, he's so bad, especially compared to everybody else. And even like looking at the eye test, the guy doesn't come within like 12 inches of the cup sometimes. Like it's really bad. So, I mean, if he can figure it out for a week or two, I think it's great. I think he's another one of these pretty volatile plays.
Yeah, just my thinking behind it too is that if he's hitting his irons as well as he is, that event twice a year, like you said, he needs to run not even hot with the putter. He needs to run not a disaster with the putter at some of these places, and he's going to be fine. So Ben, you have 2 picks in a row, but to end the first part of this show, you will make your 4th pick with John Rahm, Patrick Cantlay, and Tony Finau. It's a good squad. Who are you going with next?
I'm going with Adam Scott. I know he's not going to play a lot, but when he plays, he's good. He's consistent. He gets in the big time tournaments, so you can make up volume with money when you're getting WGCs and whatnot. I was stunned at how long of a layoff he took before the PGA. I'm not sure it'll be like that. So I'll go with him, and I'll just kind of I would love to get some of these young guns, but they're just not available. I'm trying not to force that.
Yeah, but you do have 3 young guns in Rahm, Cantlay, and Finau.
Well, I got they're established though, but like I want to reach for some creative people, but that'll be on the next half.
All right, so that was part 1 of the golf draft. Once again, become a member at fantasynational.com at fantasynational.com/Mayo to get yourself the 20% off and play in the Fantasy Golf Championships, the race for the Mayo Cup. There's $300,000 guaranteed. That's probably more important to you. But fantasygolfchampionship.com. Go register now before it is too late and it is full. So I just recommend you just go do it right now, and then you can figure it out later. 5 max entry, $100 to play. I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.
That Mayo experience! Experience!